Aloha and good afternoon. We are coming to you live from the North Shore with the Big Wave Lager Live, brought to you by the Kona Brewing Company. And we're live on the North Shore filming the action from Backdoor Pipeline this afternoon. We've got some fun rippable waves on tap. Nothing too big, but something that most surfers would probably want to be surfing this afternoon. We've got surf running the head high at a slightly overhead range. Winds shifted a little bit more northeast over the last bit, so do have some bump. Not as many barrels as what we were seeing earlier, but still looks really fun this afternoon with rippable rights and still the occasional left out there. Looking at this, it's going to continue for most of the afternoon too. I'm director of forecasting Kevin Wallace. I am joined by lead forecaster Schaller Perry, and we're going to watch here and be a little jealous for the next 20 or 30 minutes here.
Yeah,
Schaller.
absolutely. Put me in some trunks and I'm out there.
Seriously, it's been a pretty rough go of surf for both Hawaii and California, really over the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks now. On the North Shore especially, we saw basically either north wind or howling easterly trades throughout the month of February, and things have been at least a little bit better for the start of March, and do look even more promising over the next few days.
It really started to get a lot better kind of the back half of this week, it looked like.
Yeah, we've had just some fun days like this, where it's been head high to maybe a little bit overhead. Winds improved the last couple of days too. We had still pretty breezy trades earlier in the week. The last 2 or so days, we've had lighter trades in the morning, pretty much straight easterly winds. A little body surfer session going on there, and it's really just been fun the last couple of days. And the interesting thing is that's going to change too.
Yeah, starts the weekend that way though.
Yes, it does. Yeah, going into tomorrow, we've got continued kind of fun size swell out there, and looks like we'll have some light wind in the morning tomorrow, and then potentially some onshore wind building over the afternoon, and then a lot more onshore wind building by Sunday.
A little more size coming on Sunday too.
Yeah, just a bit. We've got one of our larger swells of the season on tap for the end of this weekend. It should be coming up quickly through the day on Sunday and into Monday. And that's what we're seeing right here. We'll watch this area low pressure that's going to dive down towards the Hawaiian Islands, and it's actually going to get fairly close. It's going to take a track almost directly at Hawaii. Yeah. We're seeing seas of probably 35 to 38 feet, maybe approaching 40 feet, only around 800 miles from the islands. So this is going to be one of our larger swells of the season. I would. Are the other two really big swells. We've had a few big swells, but the two really big swells that we've seen so far, the one at the end of November, which the Piahi Challenge was run on, we had a huge swell, kind of like 10 days into February. I think it was February 10th, Sunday, February 10th. It was a storm swell. It was a ton of wind with it, but we saw some really crazy numbers on the buoys. Actually, on Hanalei Bay buoy and the Waimea buoy saw their largest significant swell height readings of all time. I think both were right around 30 feet, if I remember correctly. Something like 30 at 15 or 30 at 16, something like that.
Yeah, that'll do the trick.
Yeah, the data goes back on the Waimea buoy. I want to say the data goes back to maybe 2002. Not quite as long for the Hanalei buoy, but the biggest significant wave heights we've ever seen. So it's not going to be as big as that. But we are looking at a swell on the buoys for Sunday and Monday that should be
this little backdoor wave.
Yeah, little nugget, little backside action too. Oh, a shampoo rinse coming out. The swell coming up isn't as big as especially as that swell in February. It's not as long period as the swell we saw in November. But we should be buoys, especially buoy 1 should be topping out somewhere in the 20-foot range, 20-foot plus range at 15 to 16 seconds. So that's really going to do it.
Another thing you mentioned, the swell interval not quite as long on this swell that we have coming Sunday into Monday. What does that do for a place like Waimea?
Yeah, Waimea actually it likes it. You've got certain spots really like the long period energy. Some spots like slightly shorter period energy. A great example of a spot on Oahu that loves long period energy is really going to focus it and amplify it is Sunset Beach. And then Waimea actually likes the slightly shorter period energy. Because when it gets real long period, the surf or the swell tends to get pulled away and focus more at outside log cabins and outside alligators. And so when you've got that slightly shorter swell period, like what we've coming up, the swell doesn't feel that deeper water, those deeper reefs as effectively and so is able to get into Waimea more unimpeded. And yeah, I mean, I think we're looking at probably solid 18 to 20 foot Hawaiian at Waimea Monday morning. You know, maybe Sunday eve, like end of the day Sunday, but I think Monday morning is probably going to be the prime time for Waimea. Conditions are not ideal, but I think Waimea especially should
be kind of cleaning
okay.
up through the day.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Monday.
You know, it looks like we'll have north wind throughout the day on Sunday, and you know, mostly blown out, bumpy conditions. But overnight, wind shifting more northeast, and kind of through the day on Monday, shift a little more east northeast. We got a nice little set rolling through here. No takers on it, but again, you know, I don't know. What is that? A little bit overhead, probably.
A little bit overhead. What's the water temp over there right now?
Warm, yeah. We're probably in this, I don't know, 76 to 78 degree range.
Sounds refreshing in board shorts.
Yeah, yeah. We've got you know, this swell in particular.
Got a
It's
taker. Is it going to stay open?
we're gonna get the GoPro angle on that in just a second too. Like Kennelly. Oh, sorry.
And another.
Oh, nice little set.
What do you think the odds are that we'll be back in here live on Monday?
I think pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna really look at going live from Waimea on Monday as that swell that we were just talking about moves in, and conditions look you know, at least doable there, but you know, more doable at Waimea than anywhere else.
It'll be pretty raw for most other areas.
Yeah, raw, and then you know, could be some shorter period north swell out there, and a little bumpy and lumpy. So I think Waimea is probably going to be one of the spots that can handle just the wind and the swell and everything going on. You know, it's not going to be perfect by any means, but it should be pretty fun to watch. You know, this swell's obviously quite a bit smaller. We're looking at this swell on the buoys this morning was somewhere in the 4 to 5 foot range at kind of 11 to 12 seconds. So it's a shorter period swell, just real fun out there, but you know, nothing really major.
Yeah, I was looking around at the cams a little bit for a while. You know, Rocky Point looking really fun for a bit there.
Super rippable. So we have seen, you know, as bad as February was on the North Shore, you know, January was really quite good. We had probably a 3-week stretch of just insane conditions with light winds, had a bunch of westerly swells, longer period westerly swells. So this particular stretch of reef and especially Pipeline really turned on for that period. And we got a bunch of wave of the winter entries during that time. And you know, just to let everyone know, we do have the O'Neill Wave of the Winter Awards ceremony coming up. That's going to be at the Republic. So 1349 Kapiolani Boulevard in Honolulu. Ron Artis II and The Truth are going to be playing. That's Thursday, March the 28th. Doors open at 6:30.
Who do you got to take it?
I'm going. Well, maybe not, but it looks like it'll be fun. It should be a good time. And you know, there's a couple that stand out. The Wave of the Winter Awards, Wave of the Winter, a couple that stand out. You know, Tyler Newton's wave was. I feel like I missed that because I was watching that the other day, and that one was insane. And then I'm spacing on the Japanese surfer's name that got the crazy one during the Dahiwi backdoor shootout.
Kato?
Yes, thank you. That is
That's pretty much as big as you can get for First Reef Pipeline.
Yeah, that might be one of the gnarliest waves I've ever seen at Pipe from the size of the wave at First Reef. It was a huge wave. The drop, you know, basically airdrops that thing.
The stall at the bottom.
Stall, and then like comes to his feet, and it's like pumping over I mean, that wave was insane. So as good as some of the other ones, Tyler's.
You have Healy's, and Cam with the second reef roll-ins.
As good as all those were, and as worthy as all of those waves were to be crowned as Wave of the Winter, and I think they could in some of the other years pretty easily. It's tough to beat. Tough to beat that one. Yeah.
As a goofy foot myself, you know, my heart is definitely with Cam and Healy on those second reef roll-ins, but yeah, hard to beat. I don't think you could have a larger tube at First Reef Pipe.
Yeah, that was you know, we were
kind of capped a little bit.
Yeah, we were watching that live, and I couldn't believe what I'd just seen. as insane a wave as you're going to get. The other cool thing, going back and we can look at, if you look at on Surfline right now, we've got a top 10 wave of the winter entries, and one of the really cool things about Healy's wave was how far he rode that wave, and just this big blue beautiful wave, and I think he's riding that like bright orange board or something like that. The contrast, and then he's on it for so long before you see the boil, which is kind of traditionally where guys are kind of taking off right around the boil, or you're deep if you're behind the boil, and it's a good wave. And it's like, I mean, he rode for, what did he just ride, like 100? We've got it up on a different screen. He rode for 100 yards maybe before the,
give or take.
yeah. Like, it's just incredible. That wave was incredible too. Like, when I saw that wave the first time, I'm like, oh, that's it, it's done. The wave of the winter's over.
Yeah, I thought it was over, and then Cam's wave, where he's just in the tube for so long. He ends up almost hanging 5. He's doing a little cheater 5 there.
He gets like the little
end.
bonus inside tube, and
like, is he gonna come out? And he finally comes out. Like, oh, maybe that's it actually. And then just watching the Dahlia backdoor shootout and seeing that just first reef ledge,
pretty crazy. So if you guys, if you are interested and you haven't seen it yet, go to Surfline. You can check out those top 10 wave of the winter entries, and there's some really good ones. This is one of the better years I've seen.
Pretty stacked.
In a while. Yeah, for entries. We are back live here too, and we've got fun surf. Nothing wave of the winter worthy right now, but
could be the wave of my winter out there.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is the wave of the average Joe's winter, I think, right now. Just super fun. It's blue. It's head high to maybe a little bit overhead at backdoor. Crowd's not too bad, actually.
Water's a lot warmer than it is out front here.
Yes, it is. About 30 degrees warmer. Maybe not quite that much, but it's a lot warmer. We've got a little swell running. It's a little shorter period swell. We've had just fun waves the last couple of days on the North Shore, where it's been pretty clean in the mornings. It was actually glassy this morning, and winds have shifted and have picked up a little bit more.
This is kind of backwards for over there. It's supposed to start out a little funky and then clean up through the afternoon.
Yeah, and it'll get better again as we head towards sunset. The kind of 4:45, 5 o'clock hour until sundown always seems to get better, clean up. You get the real pretty light in the afternoon there on the North Shore too, and it's gonna be a fun afternoon of surf.
I think the world knows aloha in different ways. What aloha means to me is to wake up every morning and try to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Whether it be big or small, just always trying to move forward. That to me is pretty special.
We're live here on the North Shore of Oahu at Backdoor Pipeline, and we've got fun waves. It's rippable. I am lead forecaster, director of forecasting, Kevin Wallace, and I'm here with lead forecaster Schaller Perry, and just checking out a beautiful afternoon on the North Shore of Oahu at Backdoor Pipeline, and we've got, again, just fun waves. The buoys, local buoys. Waimea buoy was around 4 to 5 feet at 11 to 12 seconds this morning. Buoys actually have gone down. If anyone is looking at that themselves and wondering what's going on, we're not sure either if that's an issue on the NOAA side or not, but buoys have been down for the last hour or so. But the most recent buoy readings we saw this morning at around 4 to 5 feet, 11 to 12 seconds on that Waimea buoy. And
dream numbers for your average surfer.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's the, as we were just saying, wave of the winter for average Joes out there. Conditions pretty good. I believe this is Shane Beschen here on a fun little trainer.
There you go.
Come out, and conditions are pretty good. Winds have shifted a little bit, so they've come up a little bit more northeast to east northeast. Have come up a bit as well, a little bit stronger than what we saw this morning. You can see a few white caps out the back, so we're probably
still a few fun little waves coming through.
Especially you get these little sets that are rolling through, and it's fun. Head height a bit overhead, and nice dismount there. And we've got plenty more on the way. But we're going to take a look back at at Shane, Mr. Beshan's wave here.
Just a nice casual little runner there at backdoor.
Yeah. Into the foam. And, you know,
He's calling it right there.
yeah, it's a good wave to go in on, considering what's on offer, I guess. And, you know, it's going to get a whole lot bigger in the next few days. We've got a very, very solid swell, XXL size swell that's developing. We're pretty high confidence that it is going to deliver. You can see that here on our wave height animation.
That second one there out the back.
Yeah, and what's going to happen is it's really going to push down towards the islands. And, you know, there's a lot of things that we like about this particular swell, but this storm setup that is going to set up this swell. We've got, fairly strong area low pressure. We've got good high pressure support on its kind of west-southwestern flank, and then it dives right down towards Hawaii. I mean, it moved towards Hawaii over the next basically 48 hours or so. And those are the factors you really look at when you've got a big storm that moves your direction, that's pointed directly at you. You know, and obviously it's a sizable low or high-low setup, and also pretty strong. Look like peak seas are going to be somewhere in the 35 to 38 foot range, maybe up to 40 feet. Only about 600 miles from Hawaii, 800 miles from Hawaii, something like that.
Oh wow, that's a dreamy little one right there.
That was a good one. So that's going to be one of our bigger swells of the winter. It's going to be picking up very quickly through the afternoon hours on Sunday as we take a look back at this wave. That's a pretty good sized wave, actually, a couple feet overhead. Perfect little wave.
In great shape too.
Well ridden, yeah. And so we've got big swell Sunday afternoon into Monday. I think there's a pretty good chance we will be live once again. And this is the Big Wave Lager live session brought to you by Kona Brewing Company. It looks like we have a good chance of being back live on Monday. Probably, I don't think we're going to be a backdoor on Monday.
I think that's pretty unlikely.
Big washed out mess. But we are going to look at Waimea and hopefully come to you guys live from Waimea on Monday morning, sometime Hawaiian time, Monday morning, maybe Monday early afternoon. We'll watch and assess conditions, and if everything looks good and we deem it worthy to run alive, then hopefully we'll be right back here on Monday, Schaller.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Are we wrapping up? What are we going to do?
Yeah, I think probably call it for now.
Yeah. Again, it's been fun, but we've got some better things to look forward to. Again, with the Big Wave Lager live, brought to you by Kona Brewing Company, and we will likely be back, or hopefully be back on Monday with much larger surf. So until then, we'll say aloha.